Welcome back to another cooking adventure with Vic. Today we'll be traveling to the land of pasta. Or you might ask, why bother making your own pasta since it's so easily available commercially? Well, the answer is because you can. Because it's fun. Because it can involve your family and friends. And you can earn extra bonus points by saying you've made your own pasta. And beyond that, you can control the ingredients yourself. You can control whether it's whole wheat flour or enriched flour, the amount of salt, the amount of eggs, the ingredients that you might put into ravioli. All good reasons for making your own pasta. And it's green too, because you're going to save some green by keeping money in your pocket because it's cheaper to make it at home. So better and cheaper. It's a win-win situation. What kind of wine do I recommend with pasta? Well, it depends entirely on the sauce. If you're having a typical tomato sauce, then I recommend a Sangiovese or a Pinot Noir. They're both medium-bodied wines, go very well with tomato sauces. Cream-based sauces would require a white wine. So what ingredients do you need to make pasta? Well, the main ingredients, of course, is flour. Here I'm using white enriched flour. You could use semolina. You could use a combination of whole wheat flour and white enriched flour. The other ingredient is vegetable oil. Another ingredient is egg. You don't have to use egg. You can certainly make eggless pasta. And the other things that I have on this table today is a little bit of extra water just to perfect the texture of the dough, which should not be too dry, it shouldn't be too wet. Well, you'll see what the just right texture is. And also I'll have a little bit of extra flour just in case the dough is too wet. And the main tool I like to use is the food processor, fitted with a metal blade. You don't have to use a food processor, but it makes life a whole lot easier if you do. And the process is very simple. I put in the eggs, I put in the oil, and then I turn on the food processor and start adding flour until the dough begins to collect and there's little pellets floating around. You'll see exactly what I mean. So, here we go. There's the egg. Here's the oil. Put the top on. It's going to get noisy when I turn it on. Start adding flour. Now note that the pasta is still too wet. It needs more flour. It's sticking to the sides of the bowl. Way too wet. Well, now it's beginning to clump. But see how sticky it is? It's still too wet. It needs more flour. Now we're getting closer. It's still wet, still too wet, but it's beginning to break apart. We're getting to the right texture now. Well, let's look at it again. See, it's beginning to have pellets here. Getting to be about right. But some of it is stuck to the wall and it's very sticky. So I'm going to loosen it up from the bowl. And this will make it available for mixing to the metal blade, and you'll find that I'll probably use just about all the flour I set aside, which was roughly 5 ounces of flour for 1 egg and 3/4 teaspoon of vegetable. That's roughly the right ratio, but it depends a lot on the flour you use as well. So you have to go by checking the texture. This is still too wet. A little more flour. Here we go. See how it has little pellets in it? This is just about right. And if you're going to make an error, it's better to be on the wet side than on the dry side, because you'll be using flour in the process of working the pasta, and that will dry it out even further. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more flour to this. This is a perfect texture. We're finished with making the pasta dough. And I'm going to let the pasta rest for anywhere from 10 minutes to a couple of hours. And then we'll go to the next step, which will be making two types of pasta, tagliatelle and ravioli. See you in a while.